Hi everyone and welcome to a special pick a card reading brought to you by 1millionnights.com. In today's reading, we're taking a look at how this upcoming great conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter taking place on the 21st of December 2020 may influence your life. Now before we begin, I would just like to say a couple of words about the astrology behind the great conjunction. So from an astrological perspective, this is a really big karmic event, because what a great conjunction means in astrology, it is like setting the stage for the new cycle of the next 20 years, depending on where Saturn and Jupiter meet in the sky, and this time they meet in 0 degrees of Aquarius, which on one hand opens up the age of Aquarius. So that means that all of us, regardless of our personal circumstances, are in for something totally new. For example, like times that we have never ever experienced before. An upgraded, refined, perfected way of thinking which serves our highest good. This is something that we can experience on a very personal and individual level. For a great conjunction, what it does psychologically, well, it opens up our perceptions, giving us the chance to perceive life, to experience life in a totally different way. And when it comes to different, to new, to never ever experienced before, revolutionary, visionary, futurism, well, it's definitely Aquarius that can offer us all of those. And on the other hand, when it comes to a new cycle, well, that means closures and new beginnings succeeding each other in all of our lives one way or another at our own individual timing. But, from a karmic perspective, this already opens up a new world for all of us. So regardless of how our own personal situations are, if we still need, for example, a lot of closures to happen in our lives, or if we had those closures but we need to seek out this new beginning, or if we just have to, leap out of stagnation or stillness, for example, or for those individuals whose life is very chaotic and they seek stability, they seek a greater expression of peace, well, it is good news for everyone because it already offers us, at least on an energetic level, to tap into whatever it is that we desire to attract in our lives, to experience in our lives, because Aquarius is also the sign of the future, the sign of our future goals, plans, our dreams, our hopes. So it is a really, really good energy for all of us. And last but not least, Saturn, the ruling planet of Capricorn, leaves its home sign, entering its other home sign, its ancient sign of Aquarius, but its expression is totally different here. So this is when all of those heavy material obstacles, limitations, unsolvable problems, our own weaknesses, our own psychological vulnerabilities, which have been a massive part of our lives the past 3 years, as long as Saturn stayed in Capricorn, well, all of those can solve themselves much, much easier now, because in Aquarius, Saturn is totally different. And of course, Jupiter leaving Capricorn is also a really good sign, because Jupiter in Capricorn is debilitated, so it cannot bring forward its highest qualities. So that meant a lot of economic problems, recessions, economic financial turmoil, collectively and in our lives as individuals as well. So when it leaves this sign, its debilitated sign, well, it's already able to tap into its much higher qualities, where it can expand all the hopes and dreams, optimism, our mental focuses, whatever we are placing our energy, the power of our intellect into, it can expand that, and that means quick manifestation. So basically all of these are very important reasons why this conjunction is so influential both for humankind as a collective, and naturally the emphasis is placed on that, the collective, because Aquarius is the sign of society, of human connections, local communities, etc. So it's all about community and the people. But at the same time, it is also about the individual and what makes us distinctive. So it is a great opportunity for us as distinctive and individual components of society as well. Now let's get back to our reading. The instructions are simple as always. Just look at the 5 piles of cards for a couple of seconds, or as long as you need, and then just choose the pile which sparks up your intuitive senses the most. And of course, jump straight to the interpretation. The timestamps can be found in the comments below. For those of you who have chosen the first pile, your cards are the 8 of Pentacles, the 4 of Cups reversed, and the Death reversed. This is quite a very powerful spiritual combination of cards that we have here, where the main idea is that finally, after a lot of years, you're going to see the big picture, why certain events happened in your life the way it did, but not only will you be able to decipher your own fate, so to speak, but you will also have all the inner information, all the subtle information, if that makes sense, in order for you to complete something really, really important for you. This is almost like a really strong resurrection of something that was very, very important to you in the past, and something that you basically set out to accomplish, but you were stopped in your tracks, or life took a different turn, and you had to basically adapt a totally different life, a totally different lifestyle. So basically fate guided you to a totally different path. And even though you might have always thought that those old dreams or desire or goal, whatever it was, is by now done and dusted, you might just think of it as a phase in life that you went through, and naturally that was closed, finished. Or some might even think that it might have been just a personal illusion of theirs. Because whatever this is, for some people it can be, for example, career related, study related. For others it can be just a dream or a big life purpose, a goal. The feeling as if you're meant to do something specific in your life, or you prepare to be part of something, to do something, or to be part of something, or in its simplest expression, to live life in a certain kind of way, the way you felt that it was destined or natural or perfect for you. But this can also be like something which has to do with your spirituality, your principles, your ideals, your big karmic goals. Or it could be something that you always felt or thought the divine meant for you to accomplish or to do or to be part of it. Because, that 4 of Cups represents that when you were young, or for example, in your teens, in your 20s, you have been either guided to embrace whatever it is, or you have been inspired through dreams, or simply intuition, inner voice, divine forces, synchronicity, maybe the voice of other people who were important in your life, which encouraged you to do it, to study it, to learn it, to be part of it. So at one moment in your life, this was very, very important to you, and it kind of defined who you were. You really wanted to be this or accomplish this or be part of it, regardless of what it is. As I said, it can be like a career, an activity, a big purpose, a big dream, something which might have to do only with you, but it can also be something that has to do with the world or a charity or simply a life that you always wanted to live. But regardless of what this is, it is also part of the distant past. This chapter or this motivated, inspired, guided state of yours, in the present moment, it is no more than a memory. And also, the time in your life when this was, an active part of your everyday reality, you were a little bit different than you are right now. Yes, naturally, you were younger and less experienced, less knowledgeable, less, let's say, powerful than you are today, but you also had a very powerful faith and belief, and you kind of knew with every fiber of your being that whatever you want to accomplish, whatever this is totally 100% meant for you. And that strong belief and desire basically made your past self maybe a little bit stronger, a little bit much more focused and concentrated than you are now today. But that is something totally natural because, when we are young, we have a totally different kind of energy, different resources, inner resources, of course. And our mindset is also much freer, much more innocent than it is today. So this kind of makes sense that when you were younger, of course you could approach all of this with much greater belief and power, and you could make it your own 100%. But the reason why I'm saying all of this is because not only will this great purpose or goal or whatever this Four of Cups depicts, that divine guidance that you received and it was part of your reality, not only is that coming back, resurrecting, the death reversed is the symbol of resurrection, but also a part of who you were back then is returning to you slowly but surely. And this means that a new inner power, a new state of being awaits you, and you do need that very confident self of yours, because the karmic forces at play here are first of all going to guide you back to the past, to who you were and whatever goal or dream or purpose these cards depict. But this won't be just a simple nostalgic moment when you're going to recall who you were, but very, very quickly the karmic forces will slowly but surely start to manifest like a trail of breadcrumbs, leading you to its fulfillment, to its completion. And as you advance on this journey towards completion, the big picture of your destiny, of your life, what you were truly meant to do all your life, is gonna come together, and that is basically going to be like a rebirth of yours. Because the confidence, the trust, and the deep immersion into your life path, into why you were born here and now in this timeline, in the culture that you belong to, in family of origin, name whatever you want, everything about your life is going to make so much sense. And as I say, it will lead you to wherever you were always meant to go, to head towards. And naturally, of course, you will also learn the reasons why the universe had to prepare you for this when you were so young, and then basically then just cut off the cords, just put this part of yours, this self of yours, if we can actually name that, to sleep, so it matures, it learns all the painful and difficult lessons about life, about how society functions, about the traps and illusions of life. And then when you're mature enough, when you're powerful enough, and when you're disillusioned enough, of course, then it will spark it back up, light it up, and complete it, make it yours, integrated into your life path, into your karmic rebirth, where this new life, as depicted by the Eight of Pentacles, well, it's going to seem to you like this is something which is basically custom made. It is designed for you. It will resonate and fit in so well with the person who you are that, every single second is going to be one of resonance, where everything that you have in your life, everyone, and every single gesture of yours will simply resonate that much strongly with your inner truth. And basically, this is what happiness means to you personally. So it is really, really good news. And you can expect this slowly but surely happening in your life over the course of the next 8 months. So, this is almost like a continuation of your biggest dream, of your biggest purpose, of your biggest life goal, and also all the failures of the past, not just regarding this goal, but so very many other diverse events, in your past, which left you with a pretty bitter taste because you aimed for success, you did everything right, you sacrificed, yet still things didn't turn out in a very positive and supportive way. Now all of those events will make perfect sense. You will see why you couldn't achieve success and why success would have simply killed this big dream and purpose of yours. And what is even more important, well, because this was always perceived intuitively by you, you knew that it was fated, so you believed in it that very strongly. Since you are going to see it come into existence before your eyes, where everything is gonna go like autopilot, every single gesture that you're going to do in the future is going to lead you here, well, that confirms your fate. That confirms whatever you believed in is true, authentic, and it couldn't be more real to you personally. So this also means that you will never ever doubt that you were meant to be part of something greater, and that divine intelligence is simply guiding you and working in your life. You will no longer doubt this, and believing in yourself will be easy and quite natural after this. Now, for those of you who were drawn to the second pile, your cards are the King of Pentacles, 9 of Wands reversed, and 3 of Coins reversed. Now for you guys, it is pretty obvious that this big karmic change has to do either with your career, your livelihood, or simply said your material life. It could be the case that it was exactly this area of life which didn't work very well in the past 3 years as Saturn was in its home sign of Capricorn. It might be the case that you had a lot of losses, material troubles, obstacles, limitations, problems at your job, or being stuck with your career, being skilled and talented and having studies to do something, and fate or just life not cooperating with you, posing a lot of obstacles, limitations, where even though you might have invested a lot of effort, a lot of work into something, and this is like work in its true sense, like hours, time of your life, maybe for some people physical effort, resources, and it just didn't come together in the sense that the reward, the material well-being, the resources that you should have gained were not proportionate to your effort. And that is why the 9 of Wands is reversed. Yes, it kind of taught you how to be strong, how to be that much more efficient. It taught you the spirit of competition. But at the same time, it also burned you out. It also fatigued you deep down to a soul level. So right now, your struggles aren't even that relevant materially, but they are even more relevant like psychologically and spiritually, because you kind of lost the strength to, invest everything that you can into your work or into your material life. You might be feeling a little bit lost, not because there aren't solutions out there, but because you are not feeling it anymore. You just don't know how to muster the strength to keep on going or to hold together your career, your profession, your material life. You just don't know what to do. And for some people, this situation might be more severe than for others, because the three of coins reversed can mean that some actually lost their jobs, lost their livelihoods, or are doing a kind of work which is totally inappropriate for them. But, they might not have a choice to do anything else. But what these cards are saying, that this past period of 3 years was very important, because it kind of showed you, revealed to you, and reflected back at you who you truly were. You might have thought about yourself, or at least, you might have doubted yourself if you're truly a good professional, if you truly work out of passion and, just that emotional state of being there and being part of something and doing it to the very best of your abilities, or you're just in it for the resources and the material part of things. Well, since your material situation was so very downgraded and you still performed, even exceeded the very best of your abilities, well, that has to reflect to you just how true you are, just how responsible you are, and that you embody a much greater spirit of duty and responsibility than many other people in your life, especially those who you used to look up to. Now the only one you have to truly look up to is no one other than yourself, because you did the impossible materially and professionally a lot of times. This is when you truly sacrificed everything in order to complete the goal, in order to be true to your work, in order to, be a dignified human being. So these cards are showing us that the big karmic lessons have already been experienced, embodied, alchemized into wisdom, into solid experience by you, and most of it had to do with your self-worth, to be able to look at yourself in a true and authentic light, not to criticize yourself, not to diminish your own accomplishments just because, the material side of things, the income or the reward, wasn't truly proportionate. These past 3 years have taught you that self-worth has absolutely nothing to do with money. It has absolutely nothing to do with someone's material situation, but rather what they're capable of doing and enduring. And because you did all this very hard, not easy to do karmic work, and finally, the only person you have to look up to is yourself in your life, well, that means that the change is going to be very quick and easy. And what the cards are saying is that you're going to be embodying that king of coins who masters the earth element, which means prosperity, stability, a stable income, feeling secure in your material life, not having to worry about tomorrow, but neither not being tormented by obsessions, by greed, by needing to have this and that. And another thing which is really, really important, not comparing your situation to anyone else's. If you feel secure in your life, if what you have is enough for you and it makes you happy, it makes you satisfied, then you have achieved everything materially that you could possibly dream of. So the shift of energy will just place you into your state of flow, and that will be the only change you ever need, because you have everything else inside of you already. When you will be rewarded for your work in a very fair and correct manner, when your work will actually reflect the, let's say, money or income or advantages you think you deserve, well, then you will have absolutely everything. And of course, since you're not a greedy person and your life demonstrated this 100%, and greed is not one of your weaknesses, it has never been, and basically you know how to share. Sharing and supporting others is deeply woven in your instincts. So again, you have everything that you could have ever dreamed of inside of you. Your personality, who you are, is everything. It is your biggest treasure. So this is all the universe and the karmic forces need to change for you. It's to just push you into the state of flow where your work gets rewarded, and that's it. That's all you ever need. For those of you who have chosen the third pile, your cards are the Lovers, the Three of Coins, and the Strength reversed. Now this is quite a surprising and massive change that the karmic forces might be preparing for you personally, because you might have been feeling either the past 3 months or for the past 3 years, and this feeling, this intuitive spark, if we can call it that way, is still very much alive inside of you, that you are meant to do something, or that you are waiting for something very specific and symbolic just to enter your life in order for you to make sense of your future. You feel like something destined has still to enter your life in order to complete the big picture of wherever this energy, this inner power, if we can call it that way, is meant to be steering you. Because this isn't just like a very strong intuitive sense that you're meant to do something, or that something is missing from your life, something to give you or complete a sense of purpose. But it's also that you feel a strong power inside of you, an energy, almost like something driving your mind to a hyperactive state. Something is stirring inside of you. You feel really, really powerful. You feel really, really strong and creative. And I don't even know how to describe this, as if your inner world is preparing to embrace something big, maybe something like that. But none of this is crystal clear. It is just like an ongoing feeling which comes and goes. You might try to snap out of this. You might try to put it to rest so it doesn't, bombard your mind with this sense of excitedness or this strong feeling of anticipation, of waiting for something. Because whatever this is, it might exist in your dreams, or whenever you try to meditate, or whenever you just enter into a spiritual state, you just feel a great anticipation, like you're preparing yourself, your higher self is preparing the integrity of your being for something, and you just can't decipher it. You just can't make sense of it. But the answers are going to come to you very, very quickly in the shape and form of a person. Now this is where things get a totally different turn for each and every person regarding their own individual situations. Now for some of you, this is love. This is a fated karmic relationship, which will basically be the gateway, the key to a totally different lifestyle, a totally different personal dimension of yours, where this new partner of yours is going to make your life especially from a material perspective, very, very easy, very light. Many things that took up your energy, your focus, your efforts, your strength, all of a sudden won't matter anymore. So you will have so much spare time, spare energy. So naturally, what you're going to do with it is invested into something that you're going to do with this lover of yours, with this soulmate, with this important new partner. And also, as soon as you meet each other and maybe have a discussion or get to know each other, it will be so very obvious to both of you that basically your virtues and weaknesses complete each other perfectly. Let's say whatever or wherever one person is really bad at, or it's a weakness, it is something that they just can't solve on their own, well, that is exactly the other person's virtue, its strong point, whatever they're good at, and vice versa. So it will be so very, very obvious to you that this connection wasn't only fated, that this was the answer to everything, and this was the sense of anticipation. And also, as soon as you meet each other and enter into more serious discussions, whatever it is that you want to do together, or that common goal or purpose, it can be a business or anything, it will become very evident very soon because you're gonna co-create it basically. Now for other people, this might not be a romantic partnership at all. This might be simply a soul connection entering your life where that person is gonna be really, really important for your future, especially career or work or purpose-wise. That person will open a door to something which was not available to you at any other time in your life. It can be, for example, like an organization, like a guild, or let's say maybe secret society. It can be absolutely anything where that person enables you to embrace your true career, your true destiny, your true purposes, either through their connections or their own status quo. And naturally, this is going to be an alliance for life. At the very first discussions, you will immediately know that you had to meet this person, that you resonate with them, that they complete you. So it will be very, very obvious. And this was the big sense of anticipation, because this person is going to open up a totally new world for you. Now for other people still, it might not necessarily be a person in its classical sense, but rather that person can symbolize an organization, for example, or a community, or leadership of something basically, the representative of a corporation or organization or a group of people, where it is the organization or community or firm or whatever it is that you're going to join. And what makes it so very special, well, it will be like a perfectly fitting glove. You just belong there. You will know from the first second. Everything will be so very natural, so comfortable, so easy for you. So needless to say that you're going to do a lot of great things in there, and it's a very long-term alliance. So this doesn't mean that it's fixed and it's not going to change over time and your position is not going to change, but it will still be part of your life for a long time, even in those times when you don't officially belong there anymore. And the strength card reversed is also very important, because on one hand it does signify that it's gonna be rather easy, so it's not gonna be anything complicated, and on the other hand it's gonna be easy because this will be like an only option you have, so it won't even need a lot of thinking, a lot of choosing making up your mind, it will just flow. For example, if you have a big lack or a big unpassable obstacle in your life right now, now that is the reason why you have it, because when this option comes along, it will be so very easy to just accept it and go with the flow. For those of you who have chosen the fourth pile, your cards are the Chariot, the Eight of Cups, and the Tower. The combination of these cards speak about a very powerful psychological transformation that you have been going through for quite some time now, but this is where you're finally going to not just refine, change, alchemize, heal, and purge out things from the inside, but you're also going to embody the result of all your work, as in your new self. Of course, this new self isn't totally brand new. It is more like you without all the inner psychological limitations that have been piling up in your life over the course of the years. The Eight of Cups might suggest that all of this started in childhood when certain people kind of hurt you, they kind of broke your innocence, when they basically forced you not to exteriorize a lot of feelings and emotions which you have been going through like each and every other child. And this kind of turned you into an introvert, even though this introverted personality is not really as much part of your design. You were never actually meant to be an introvert in its proper sense. You were just meant to be very, very selective of who you allow into your personal sphere. But with people who you do allow in your personal sphere, you're not an introvert at all. Quite the contrary, you're basically the life of the party. You're the inspirational figure. You are someone who bestows smiles, good vibes, laughter, joy and inspiration into everyone who is special in your life. The difference is that very few people are part of your life, but that is absolutely fine. Of course, this wasn't always the case. Because you have such a very special energy, there might have been times in your life when you were surrounded by people, when you lived let's say symbolically, a Gemini kind of lifestyle, when you had so very many social connections in your life, but most of them turned toxic. People just drained you from your life force. They drained everything that they could from you, so you had to stop that lifestyle as well. You have been through so very many phases and stages in life where you experienced very many different lifestyles. You experienced what it meant like to be solitary, to be like a hermit. You also experienced the opposite of that when you were a relevant social figure, at least in your local community, when you had a lot of friends, when you had a lot of connections. You also experienced states where you were much more career or matter focused and oriented, where you invested a lot of time and effort into your work or obtaining a greater material satisfaction for yourself in order to live an independent life. Of course, there were times when you actually did the opposite and invested a lot of energy and effort into things which are more spiritual, more, for example, artistic. Maybe you try to become an artist, you try to express your skills and talents. So what matters is that you have been through so very many various different experiences, so you have a little bit from everything, both good and bad, but still you haven't found the right vibe, the right state of normality that you can basically operate in for a long time. Because even though you tried so very many different things in your life, nothing seemed to satisfy you fully. Nothing seemed to be your natural state, if you know what I'm saying. But this isn't due because you haven't found what you were looking for, or you haven't manifested what you desired. But this is due to that old wound, that old trauma of yours, where due to the hurts and the rejection of the past, maybe failures, maybe when you went through a period of your life when you were criticized for being a dreamer, for being naive, for being idealistic. So basically that took away your courage to believe in yourself and the power of your dreams. You don't believe in your dreams and your desires. You may think that they're just fantasy, or you kind of associate being a very dreamy and sometimes a passive person with failure, with the wrong thing to do, the wrong attitude. Maybe you associate being, dreamy and less active physically with laziness, and that is a big self-defeating pattern. It's almost like a really dark and devilish inner voice which criticizes you every time you feel comfortable within your own being, with a dreaminess, with artistic activities, with a little bit of fantasy, imagination, or whenever you're not actively, physically ambitious and passionate and investing your skills and talents into something. That inner voice kind of criticizes you, makes you feel very, very restless and guilty for not doing anything palpable. Now you may have identified that this bad program inside of you is making your life that much harder, and it's taking away your self-confidence. And you might have tried a lot of different techniques in order to stop it, in order to, let's say, alchemize it, turn it into something else. And you even succeeded, even though that success is very questionable in the present moment, because the Tower card might suggest that you might be going through almost like karmic challenges, of course small gestures, but a lot of them in the present moment, which basically test your self-confidence, which test how much do you truly believe in yourself and how seriously you take your own feelings and your own desires. But whenever there is a karmic exam playing out in your life, well, that means that the moment when you enter into a new phase, when you pass that exam, when you graduate, and basically a new phase opens up in front of you, enabling you to be free in your life and to use all of the virtues and the wisdom and experience that you gained by going through all those exams. Now that moment is very, very near. So if you are living these small but annoying and really symbolic challenges, maybe from people, maybe it's from synchronicities or from small failures, disappointments, which just challenge if you have the ability to go above, to surpass it, not to allow it to take away your ability to believe in yourself and your dreams just because there are small inconveniences or people have contrary opinions or whatever this tower means. So it's really, really good and positive, because after this examination ends and you graduate, you pass, a new life is definitely going to be waiting for you. But this is the new kind of new life, but one which you have never experienced before, because it embodies the qualities of the Tower card. So that means Mars. It means that things are going to happen to you, especially good things or getting what you want, when you are willing to risk, when you're willing to step outside of your comfort zone, when you're willing to express your courage, your passion, your beliefs. So that means a lot of self-confidence is needed in order for you to succeed. But whenever you do this, you are definitely going to triumph. Whenever you passionately pursue something, whenever you dare to show your courage, your power, who it is that you truly are, whenever you dare to believe in yourself and even express that belief, for example, like speak about it, verbally express it, dare to say the words that you do believe in your goals and purposes, that you do believe that you're capable of doing it. A really powerful and confident can-do attitude. Each and every time you do this, in the future, especially the karmic configuration of the future you're stepping into, that is when the universe is going to support you. It is going to conspire in your favor. And whenever, you're actually not capable, because let's admit it, self-belief is many times subjective, but it is a necessary element. So whenever you're actually not capable, you will have a lot of good fortune and the beginner's luck to help you become capable. So basically, the karmic patterns of your future are gonna be totally different than the karmic patterns of the past. And why? Well, because you transformed, you changed, you made that old programming, that unconscious pattern, you turned it into something else. So your life and the way things work in your life has to be something totally different as well. For those of you who were guided to the fifth pile, your cards are the Three of Wands, the Chariot, and the Emperor reversed. Now this is a pretty mysterious combination because it doesn't directly tell us what is going to happen and how things are going to be playing out in a very precise manner. They're just revealing to us the overall feelings and the big karmic theme. Now these combinations of cards speak about two possible versions. One of them has to do with relocation. Now both the Chariot and also the Three of Wands are cards which sometimes symbolize travel. The Three of Wands travel overseas, travel over a body of water. So it is definitely a long distance kind of travel. And the Chariot, it doesn't just symbolize the travel part, but also where the travel leads you. Well, it is conquering new territory, higher grounds. So it is traveling to a place where you have never lived before. And this travel is also a long-term one. So basically it means relocation. Now for some people, it may have to do with swapping a house, buying a new house, or physically relocating to another place, maybe another culture, another territory, another country. While for other people, it is actually the lifestyle which is more relevant, because the relocation will also mean a totally new lifestyle. For example, moving from the city to the countryside, or embracing agriculture kind of lifestyle, or being part of a community which lives naturally. But it can be in the total opposite, where you go from a natural or a simplistic kind of lifestyle to something much more advanced. So it can be anything based on what you desire or what goals you have in this perspective, because the Three of Wands is an opportunity, but that opportunity is actively pursued by you, so you're open to it. It isn't something just random and coincidental. It is something that you desire. Of course, the way it happens, now that is what is the big surprise. That is what is not really according to your plans and calculations. But the goal itself, now that is something that you do desire. And another version of this it doesn't necessarily have to do with a different place physically. It just means a life of freedom, whatever freedom means to you personally. It can mean no longer having a career and job. It can mean escaping someone's rulership, dictatorship. It can mean living a lifestyle where you're not part of a hierarchy, where you have no superiors, no bosses, no one to answer to in a duty or responsibility kind of way, where it's part of your everyday routine. And for some, this freedom also suggests that what they're gonna do with their freedom is just travel around the world or just embrace maybe a nomadic kind of lifestyle. It really doesn't matter what situation this depicts, if it's like a relocation, if it's like a big change of lifestyle, or if it's just simply having the freedom that you desire in your life. Because what actually matters is that all conditions are going to make this ideal. So it's not just a goal that you're dreaming of, it is something that is going to be part of your life and actually happen. So that means that the conditions have to be ideal and that your own destiny has to guide you to it. And another very important element here is the Emperor reversed, because one way or another you're trying to escape from something. Even if it's relocation, it is still something that is making your life not very ideal, or something is bothering you. You feel like something is controlling you, or you feel trapped, or you don't feel that you have enough freedom in your life. So whatever that Emperor reversed represents, that obstacle or irritation or whatever dissatisfies you, you're getting away from it. It can be a boss, it can be a job, it can be a career, it can be neighbors, it can be a place, a city which just doesn't resonate with you. It can be a political system, it can be a parent, it can be your own attitude. Either way, you're escaping from that boss. You're escaping from the dictatorship, symbolically to be understood, of course. Or if it's just a life of freedom, when whatever prevented your freedom, that is what you're escaping from, what you're moving on from. The new adventures that await you are not crystal clear, because you are going to co-create them or figure them out, attract them in your life after all of this takes place. So it is basically a big work in progress. The final destination doesn't even matter yet, because you're yet to discover that. And it depends on you, on your choices, on your preferences, and how your life is going to be once you relocate or when you achieve that greater state of freedom. So right now, the journey is more important than the final destination. So it's really, really good news, because that Emperor reverse is finally leaving you in peace regardless of what it is. Well, thank you so much for listening. I do hope that you enjoyed it. And also I would like to mention, if it's possible, be sure to look at the Great Conjunction in the sky, because it is going to be visible. It is going to look like a much bigger and brighter Jupiter, and it's going to be at its peak around the 25th of the month. So be sure, if you have the possibilities, to get a glimpse of it, because this is quite a rare phenomenon. Last time the Great Conjunction was so bright and visible in the sky was 800 years ago. So thank you again for listening. Wish everyone blessed holidays. Until next time, bye for now.